What is up, you guys? Coach TJ here, back with another video. Today I want to talk about exits. This is one of the most undervalued and undertrained things I see in so many face-off guys. Everybody obsesses about getting a good clamp, about winning the ball, but nobody obsesses about gaining possession. And if you can't win possession as a face-off guy, it's all for naught. It doesn't matter how good of a clamp you have if you can't get your team the ball. First, I want to go over two very important points that you have to keep in mind when exiting, no matter which direction you are going. Now, the first important point is right hand pressure. If I don't have right hand pressure on the ball, I'm going to leave the ball behind every time. This is probably the most common mistake I see in beginners when they're trying to learn how to exit. You got to keep your right hand squashing the bug, squashing that ball, right? A lot of coaches say chest over the ball or nose over the ball, but no matter what, you're dominating that column, that giant imaginary column over the ball, keeping that right hand pressure so no matter what, I can keep that ball under me as I exit, no matter which direction I go, right? Now, if I let up that right hand pressure, as soon as I lift up from that ball's staying behind, right? This is why you see so many face-off guys try and pop it out and they leave the ball behind. They didn't maintain right hand pressure. Don't leave with your body and leave your hands behind. Your hands have to follow your body the entire way through. Now, the second important point is creating separation. As a face-off guy, it's super important for me to be explosive out of my exit after I win that clamp. When I pinch and pop, I don't want to pinch and pop right in front of my opponent's face because he's going to swat the ball out of my stick every single time. What I want to do is create separation. So a lot of coaches call it the check mark. I call it the Nike swoosh since I went to University of Oregon. Shout out Ducks. When I win that clamp and I want to exit forward, for instance, I have to drag that ball away from my opponent, right? Maintain right hand pressure, bring it all the way to my left ankle, go around my opponent, and pop it away from him so that he can't just check the ball out of my stick off the get-go, right? Now, there are three basic exits that every face-off guy should have in their arsenal. Obviously, these aren't the three only exits you're ever going to use as a face-off guy. There's a million different variations of each of these three exits. However, these are the three basic exits that I feel like 99% of the time you're going to see face-off guys do in order to exit or get out. So that first exit is the front door exit. So this is the basic exit that you see everybody use to get that quick, clean, fast break going forward. When you do this, like I already talked about, you really want to focus on creating separation and getting around your defender, right? So you win that clamp. You're going to bring that head all the way to your left ankle, up to your left hip, and pop it out forward, right? Now, what I don't want to do is I don't want to go straight through my opponent, right, and drag and rip it off of his stick. Really likely chance that I'm going to hit his plastic on the way out and the ball is going to ricochet off his plastic, go behind me, not the direction I want it to be going. Something I like to do, whether I'm coaching or practicing on my own, I like to create a visual marker to make sure I am creating that separation. It can be a ball, it can be a helmet, it can be another stick, but it's something that I have to use the Nike swoosh or check mark to get around. That way I can go all the way around my opponent and create that separation. Now, the next exit is the defensive exit. This exit is really great for protecting that ball and getting away from your opponent in a safe, clean, reliable manner. Now, it's not always the fastest, but it can be dependable if you can rotate correctly with the right technique. So when I'm going for the defensive exit, I win that clamp, step to the right with my right foot to create room to throw my left foot and left hand back, and immediately throw my right hip into my opponent. When I do this, I'm sealing off my opponent with my hip. It's just like boxing out on a ground ball, right? I step to the right, throw my hip into my opponent, show him my butt, and get out safely towards my defense. I don't want to throw my left hand too high as I rotate because it'll make it easier for the opponent to get under me and counter me. I want to keep that left hand low as much as I can, swing it out, and come back that way. Now, the last most important exit is the back door, the right pop, or the back right. I've heard it called a lot of things, but essentially all it is you doing a defensive exit, but to the right, rotating clockwise. There are two ways to do this exit. There's the quicker way, and then there's the more safe and secured way. The quicker way is to just pop it right up to the right and get out as soon as you can. The important thing to know about this is that you have to maintain right hand pressure, like I said earlier. It's super common for kids to just leave that ball behind in this exit because they're trying to get out so fast, and they leave the ball behind because they go body first and then hands. It has to be hands and then body, not body and then hands, because you're going to leave that ball behind. A lot of guys like to do this with a reverse pinch. That's totally fine. Just know that if you're reverse pinch, you turn that back pinch into a forward pinch real fast and go out the front. But if you are in this backwards pinch, it's really easy to just pop it out the back. Also, great thing to do when you get into that back pinch on accident and you don't know what to do, go for that right pop. Now, the other way to do this exit is just go straight backwards. When you do this, it's a little bit slower, but you're keeping that ball secured, so it's a lot less likely to get countered. When you do this style of backdoor, you want to keep the ball under you the entire time and bring it to your left foot just like you would on a front pop or a forward exit, right? So you bring it to that left foot, but instead of popping up and out to the left, you rotate clockwise, throw that right foot back, and come out the back this way. So to look at it from this angle, I win that clamp, I bring it to my left ankle, I swing my right foot back, and I come out this way. Now this exit is really great to do when our opponent is jumping out in front of us. They expect us to go forward, right? But as they go to the left, we can go the opposite direction, go to the right, create a fast break, even though we're not going forward and to the left like we usually would. We loop around him, send him the wrong way. So when I'm practicing my exits, I split each of my exits into 4 quadrants. So I imagine there's a crosshairs right over the ball. Quadrant 1 would be right in front of me to the left. Quadrant 2 would be behind me to the left. Quadrant 3 would be behind me to the right. And Quadrant 4 would be in front of me to the right. If you really want to get experience at escaping pressure and getting those clean, crisp exits, I would practice each exit into each quadrant. 10 to 15 reps every day. Go into the first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant, and really diversifying which direction you're going. The ability to mix up your exits is truly one of the things that separates intermediate from advanced, from elite face-off guys, because mixing up your exits can keep your opponent guessing, can open up new opportunities for you to escape pressure, and even opportunities to score goals, get those genos, get those assists, get those apples, rack up the stats in the scorebook. Thanks so much for watching my video, guys. I have tons of other videos in the works. Give me a like, subscribe, and comment for a video you'd like to see in the future. In the meantime, see you later.